I'm finding it really difficult. My bag is already packed. I'm just gonna grab what I can grab.
Hello.
Right, I'm gonna go, guys. Well guys, it's time for another adventure, and this time for a bit of a rainy one, a bit of a misty one too. It's also quite late, it's about 5 o'clock now, and I've just left work for the weekend and to head my way into the woodland. It's been massively foggy recently, but it brings such a beautiful atmosphere to the surrounding areas here, so I'm going to tread myself in, get myself a shelter, cook some food, have a few beers and have a good time. So I'll see you in there. So this little woodland here, I've had my eyes on it for a while, for a bit of a camp, and the last time I was here was about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years, when the pandemic hit the world, and I came into these woodlands to just get away for a little bit, make a little fire and just chill out. This woodland's quite nice, it's got like a little swampy pond and a few trees for me to... Okay. Alright. You guys gonna think I planned this? I didn't. I think Halloween's coming up, isn't it? Okay. This is a bit weird. Well then, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest guys, I was not expecting that. It looks like some kids have put this bed sheet over a tree stump. I don't know why I'm putting this back on, but I am. Everyone meet Bob. Say hello to Bob. No, Casper. Casper the ghost. Say hello to Casper the ghost. Right. Funny enough, I was playing the camp at that tree there, which is literally right next to this little ghost here. I might have a little venture around, as it might be a bit of a popular spot, but I haven't got too much time. Let's have a look around. I'm not sure if I want to camp by this. I'll see you in a bit, Casper. Do you know what? I might still go for it. I might still camp where I want to camp because it's got a perfect tree for a plough point. I'm going to keep on treading through the woods, I think, and just see if there's any sort of evident spots that might be really nice for me to camp at. But I need to find myself a spot. Still unsure if I want to camp by the little Casper ghost, as it's a bit weird, but I found this really cool spot here, which has got a nice view of this open green part that's got a nice log to sit on and some nice mushrooms, fungi. It's quite nice around here, nice and light. It feels like it would be quite a nice light spot in the evening. Pretty good option actually. Maybe like a little lean-to tarp shelter. The birds are rustling a bit. This is the thing, when you go camping on your own, it can be a little bit spooky at times. But when something weird or strange happens, like just seeing that innocent sheet over the log, it just puts ideas in your head that you're not particularly alone. But you just have to get yourself through that, because you just get yourself bothered up really. It's really wet. It's really, really wet. I'm gonna have to just string my tarp up, don't think too much about it, and get a fire on, really get some wood, because a lot of this is saturated. It's been raining for the last few days. Yeah, there's plenty of deadfall that I can probably just trim up and cut down and get a fire on. I've been talking for ages, I'm just waffling, I'm distracting myself. Let's get back into it, Josh. Get that tarp up and get some food on the go. Right, back in it. I'm camping today, Josh. I'm camping. Let's do it. Right, as the rain is starting to come down a bit more, I've decided to camp here instead. It's looking a bit drier than it was in that open spot over there that I had a liken to. It's a bit too grassy, a bit too mossy, a bit too wet and damp there, like the first spot near Casper. I liked the look of that when I came here a while ago, a few years ago in fact. But times change, things change, don't they? Trees change. It started to get a bit worse for wear over there, and a bit too open, a bit too close to the fence actually, thinking about it. I hope Casper has a lovely night on his own over there. I'm going to camp here because it's a bit more sheltered. So I'm going to get my tarp up now, my 3x3 tarp by DD, get myself a little plough point. Once I've got that up, go cut some wood, and then I'll do my bedding situation later on. So let's get cracking. pretty slimy, very wet wood. I'm gonna have to trim it down a bit really, batten it with my York knife, get some twigs and things, build a fire, and then just rest some of this wet wood and fatter pieces around the edge. Hopefully they'll dry off a bit and I'll just start feeding the fire. I've probably got about 45 minutes till it's gonna be dark, and I don't really want to. Okay, there's a robin, there's a little robin. Hey man, little robin's come to say hello. So cool. I don't think it's going to stop raining tonight at all. I don't mind. I've got my shelter up now, but I'm starting to get hungry. Like I said, I've just come from work today, so I've worked up an appetite. I'm just literally sat over there trimming the wood down, cutting it down how I like it, and I can just hear some mad movement going on in those bushes over there. I can't tell if it's like the rainfall just making quite a commotion, or there may be rabbits or deers maybe walking through, or any dog walkers or whatever, I don't know. Bit spooky. It'll be just the rain anyway. I don't know why I let these things play on my mind sometimes. It happens, you know guys, it happens. Literally, camping out solo is a wonderful thing for many reasons. But sometimes your mind just plays tricks on you. And you think you can hear like treading through the woods, but you can't hear any talking, can't see any torches. It's just me in here, I assume. But I'm gonna carry on, push through, make a fire, enjoy myself. I'm finding it really difficult. Do you know what I mean? You heard that. And it's really quiet. There should be birds singing. There was birds singing, and I've just noticed they've just stopped singing. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't they be singing? I'm finding it really difficult to focus. Lovely little spot. Lovely food to be cooked. A night under the stars. When the camera was off, I heard some really heavy movements in the bushes, and I'm pretty sure I saw something in the bushes as well. As I was standing still, there was this movement there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to leave my tarp here in the woods. My bag is already packed. I'm just going to grab what I can grab and come back here in the morning, and maybe just do a bit more talking with you there. So I think it's important to be real with you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna pack up. I guess I could take this tarp away, but I just don't really want to. Alright, I'm gonna go, guys. Hello. I apologise, it's not really the vibe I go by. I'm all about having fun, relaxing, and being peaceful, cooking good food and good vibes. As I know, when you watch these videos of mine, you're looking for a bit of an escape as well, maybe, and you look for a bit of chill time. I really don't know if I'm going to post this, but obviously you hear me saying all this. I've already posted it. I'm probably going to talk to a few people and see what they think, what I should do, because you see videos on YouTube, I've lost my bearings a bit. No, I think it's a yeah walked around in a bit of a circle. Yeah, so you sometimes see videos on YouTube talking about their experiences at camp and spooky encounters and all this sort of stuff, and you just think, yeah, some of them could be real and some of them can be just completely clickbait. I don't think you guys have ever seen me speak like this or see my face like this, really. But I've had my fair share, to be honest, of the odd strange thing that's happened, and I've kind of sworn to myself to never really talk of these things. And I don't know if I ever will or will, because I have my nephews and nieces who watch these videos, and I don't want to worry them or anything like that, because when you're out in the woods, you are making yourself a bit vulnerable. It'd be naive of me to think there's nothing out there or any weirdness out there, but it's a shame, because I just left work today, and as I was driving home I thought, it's nice and misty. I've camped in the fog before. I want to get out there and capture some ambience and everything like that, and cook some food. My missus made a nice there's a dog behind me. Maybe it was a dog this whole time. That's big. Right. Well guys, it's been a few days, it's been a while. It's been a while since I picked up the camera to share what happened. I put a little post out on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube to see if you guys wanted to hear the story and to hear a bit more of what happened in that time where I had to leave. Obviously you've just seen the video for yourselves. You can make your own conclusions, what you might think it was, what it could be. But when I was in those woods, I turned up after work, spontaneous idea to go out. Then my missus made a beautiful cottage pie that she said I could warm on the fire, so I quickly packed up a pack, ready to make a plough point in the woods and cook some good grub and just enjoy some misty woodlands. I love camping in different surroundings and different atmospheric environments. I've camped in the mist and fog before and I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the fog and mist. I think it just brings this eeriness that is beautiful at the same time. And so when I packed up my bag and it was around 5 o'clock, I headed into the woods. A very local woodland to me. It's walking distance. And I treaded myself in. I went through the tall grass and I was excited for an adventure. As I've not been in that part of the woodland for many years. It was a little place that I went to a few times just to sit down, make a little fire and just breathe. Along with the shelter that I built up in, further up in the woodland. It was these little places of sanctuary for me, a bit of peace, a bit of safety for me to chill out in. But when I went back after some time, obviously I noticed a little spooky Casper ghost somebody left there. I don't know how long that was there for, but it made me chuckle. I laughed about it. It didn't put me off. I knew it would just be kids having fun or some dog walkers just having a laugh. So I didn't have much time, so I didn't really scout the rest of the woodland. I just went to some familiar spots that I remember from last time and I pitched up my plough point, started chopping some wood and I started to split it. It was at this moment I noticed it got eerily quiet. The birds stopped chirping and I could hear heavy footsteps in the woods moving around me. I felt like I was being surrounded by one point. I was getting a bit delirious not knowing where it was coming from. But I thought to myself after I picked up my phone camera, look, distract yourself Josh, you're getting yourself worked up, just talk your way through it, push yourself through it, you've got this, you just camp out. It's probably just the rain just falling and it's sounding like it's surrounding you, but it was so heavy. When I've been camping for quite a few years and you start getting familiar with the sounds of the woodland, what the difference between a twig that's fallen off a tree and it's got that bounce to a twig hitting the branches and falling to something pushing through the bushes. And I then noticed while I was sort of recording and also off camera that there was movement in the bushes. Now you could see in the video it wasn't dark by the time I was getting spooked. It was starting to, maybe the next 40 minutes or so. And I could see the black silhouettes of these bushes moving and I could hear pushing, I could hear footsteps. But this was mainly happening when I weren't speaking and it was off camera, which is typical, I know. But I think if it was a person, they're probably waiting until I stopped speaking to move. And when I was standing still, they thought maybe I weren't looking and they were just stepping through the trees. I was starting to get really uneasy, I was getting really nervous about it. And it was at that point I noticed something literally opposite me that I thought might have been a tree, but when I stared at it, it dipped down behind the bushes. And that was when I probably that clip where I've not seen the footage yet really, but when I'm like, okay, and I just switched the camera off. And then as I was packing away, I heard a dog bark in those woodlands, in those trees. So I knew someone was there with their dog, or there was a dog or something roaming on its own. But as I was walking out those misty woods with the camera off, I could hear the treading evidently more behind me, and I just pushed my way through, hurt myself climbing over the fence, barbed wire fence. And then as I was walking through the misty field, explaining to you and myself, to comfort myself, filming myself, talking to something, I could hear dogs barking in the back. So I think looking back, it was probably somebody walking their dog who got quite nosy, saw a couple of lights, and they heard someone chatting or someone chopping wood, and they, for some reason, they didn't just maybe see a camper and think, oh, this guy's camping. They decided to stick around for quite a while, and that's what really put me off. And the silence and the eeriness, just, there was something in me that told me to leave. I did believe like God was telling me to just pack up and leave. You know, you've had some fun for a bit, you know, you've been out in the outdoors, you've enjoyed it, it's time to leave now. I listened to myself as well, and I just chose just to pack up and leave. What is there to lose, you know? I've had a good time, I've tried, and it's better safe than sorry. I'm sure glad that I left. It was pretty weird that I saw movement, I heard movement, and especially when I shouted out hello, nothing replied back. I'm going to share another story with you guys. I don't want to bore you, I don't want to extend this video or dramatize it or whatever. I'm just being raw and being serious. This is another situation that I had once before. I was in the woods, I was in my hammock, and it was about 12 o'clock at night, and I looked left of my hammock and I noticed a couple of torches heading towards me. I then decided to jump out of my hammock and hide behind a tree, because I was thinking, like, I don't want to be laying in a hammock if anybody walks through my camp. Anyway, these two gents walked straight through my camp and then noticed my hammock, noticed my shelter, both looked at each other, and I thought I better reveal myself because I don't want anyone taking my gear. So as I stepped out, I gave them a bit of a fright, to be fair. My beard was down here, my hair was down here, and they didn't stick around to talk, they just left. So I reassured myself they wouldn't come back, and I went back in my hammock. And I called the missus as well. I said, sorry it's late babe, but I just had a couple of guys walk through the camp. It felt like someone walked through my living room, like your safe space. She said, well, if you feel uneasy, come home, but they probably won't come back. We didn't know any better. We didn't know if they'll come back or not, but they did. About 20 minutes later, as I was in my hammock, I looked to my left. Those torches obviously weren't there, but I looked to my right. Those two torches were coming back, plus 5 more. Okay? And I jumped out of my hammock, started packing my hammock in my bag, shoving everything in there, had my torch in my mouth, just thinking, right, just to grab everything I've got. But the torch literally fell out my mouth, like a horror movie where, you know, the bulb goes or the battery dislodges. That happened to me. It sounds pathetic, it sounds far-fetched, it sounds like I'm telling a lie or porcupine. This is 100% truth. Lots of people have heard this story. A lot of my friends locally have heard this story. I've shared it many other time. But I thought I'm going to stand my ground because I want that torch. I can't find it, but I want it. My mum got me that for Christmas one year, and she spent a few bob on it. I stood my ground, and then the lads came over to my camp. This whole time now I realised that I had a head torch on my head that I could have switched on at any moment, which I could have picked up that torch and darted out of there. But I didn't notice that till right at the end. Anyway, these lads came over, and the first thing they said to me was, there you are. Which is a very strange thing to say. They're looking for me, obviously. I said, wow, this shelter looks really good, mate. You've done a good job here. Done well. And I said, cheers, thank you. And they were like, do you live here? And I said, what, the woods? I said, no, I don't live here, mate. I just do this for fun. And he looked at me like, why would you do this for fun, you know? And he kept on asking me questions like, you know, are you hungry? And they were looking out for me in the end, really, I think. But I started asking them questions because they were asking me too many personal questions. They were trying to figure out who I am. I don't sound like I'm from around here. I've only lived in the northeast of England for about nearly 8 years now. At the time, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and my accent was pretty strong from the south. So I didn't sound like I was from here. So they were checking up on me, trying to vet me really. But I thought I'm going to ask them a question, and I did. And I turned around and I said to them, are you boys camping in these woods as well? 3 of them said yes, and the rest of them said no at the exact same time. So I knew the stories weren't adding up. They were in those woods for some reason. And why are they there as a big bunch of lads with a young boy with a dog as well? Which, by the way, the little boy was looking at me terrified because I realised I had like a 7-inch blade on my hip and my axe handle out my bag. But yeah, they soon sort of ended the conversation and left. But when they left, they dipped into the trees on the other side, which I know that part of the woodland very well, because as you dip down it goes onto the main path. But they stopped right there behind the trees and stopped talking, and I knew they were still watching me, so I quickly packed up and left and went home. I think the moral of that story is, as like just what I experienced the other day, trust your gut and leave when you feel like you need to leave. Don't feel like you have to stick it out till you see sunrise to say, yes, camping completed. You've gone out, you've tried it, you've pitched up your tarp, your tent, you've cooked yourself some food, maybe not even that. You've cracked a beer, you've enjoyed nature, you've had a stroll, you've had a swim in the lake, or you've skipped some stones by the sea, or you're picking sticks and just having fun, building shelters. If you're out and about, even when you're not camping and you feel something's not right, it's probably because there isn't something right. When it's time to leave, leave. Why stick around? You know, why wait until potential danger could come? Yeah, it might have been nothing. It might have been. The dog might have not been barking from those woodlands. It might have been from the field, but, you know, I've got a family at home. I don't want to be, you know, fighting anyone in the woods. I've got a lot to lose, and that's my wonderful family. My motto, as you guys know, is stay wild and stay safe. As much as it's good to be wild out there, it's good to be safe, and it's most importantly to be safe. Check your surroundings. If things don't seem right, just leave. Be safe out there, guys. Let me know what you think the experience was. Let me know what you think it was out there. Let me know any stories that you may have experienced out in the woods, or stories that you know about. Share down below. Let it be a good old discussion down there, but a place of positivity and a place of kindness as well. Let's be kind to one another down there. People have different ideas about this world. People have different ideas of what's out there, you know. But let people talk, let people share, and what they might have experienced out there. I really felt like God said to me, just pack up and leave. And I did. And here I am now, sipping a nice beer, waiting for my food to be cooked. And there we go. I'll see you for another one, guys. And this time, hopefully, for an adventure that I don't have to leave so soon. But until next time, remember to stay wild and stay safe. Peace.